All right, so now let's see. We in. We are in. It's always something, people. But we're back. It's always something, man. That's the thing. That's the thing that I like about live is that it's always something, and it's just the way it be sometime, man. So now, once again, I got to CJ is right here for you guys.
Yeah, so when you log
CJ is in the building.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the building.
Like a double click for double pay or something.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, he's in the building. So, like I said, I had to to do all this stuff, man. So now we're about to get rolling. We're about to get rolling. I always appreciate you guys' support. I always appreciate you guys. And it's always something, man. It's always something. So what I'm doing right now is I put together all these shots for CJ and for the guest so that it's live. So I just click on the whatchamacallit and it goes to the shot of what I want to talk about at that moment. Okay. So okay, so what I'm doing now is just going through and fixing the shots so that when we get to it, CJ, you jump back in. So that when we get to it, but what is going on, man? Okay. But just so you guys know, CJ is in the building.
That's different. That just came up.
He is in the building.
Record, little red dot.
And so I'm going to finish fixing his shots real quick, and then we'll be rolling smoothly. Hey, man, it be like this. Got that. Boom. CJ got him there. And y'all know I hate wasting people's time, man. I've been a time guy all my life. I hate wasting it. It's so precious. You don't get it back. So please excuse me, guys, for this mishap. And I know my people on Facebook are probably wondering what's going on. But it's all good, man. It's all good. We are ready. Got my shots ready. You guys can see me. Megatron is in the building. So let me get my computer back on with all my notes. And now we can get started. CJ, can you hear me? Can you hear me, CJ? You can hear me? All right, good. You seeing the show? Can you see the show? All right, good. All right, man. So we're live again, man. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. I hate that it happened, but we're starting a little late, but it is what it is, man. I hope you guys aren't doing much on your Wednesday night, but hanging out, getting to hear from a legend, Calvin Johnson, the man, the myth, the legend, Calvin Johnson. So we got a good show lined up tonight. I want to get to all of it, so we're going to jump right into it. Let's get it rolling. Yeah, I love doing that, man. I love hitting the intro. So that lets you know that we are here, okay? So I'm excited tonight, man. You hear people say all the time about getting to pick somebody's brain and learning from people. Well, tonight we have the all-time great Calvin Johnson, lifetime talent. You don't see talent like this every day. I really want to pick his brain and dive into his mindset. I want to know what made Calvin Johnson Megatron. You know what I'm saying? So one of the ground rules that I laid down for the DB room was we appreciate people. We appreciate people. So tonight, I said I want to dive into the mindset of an all-time great, but I also want to show some appreciation because he definitely deserves it. Let's roll.
He still holds the single season receiving record for yards, almost 2,000 yards. He still holds the single season record for 100-yard games with 11. And over his 9 seasons, he led the NFL in receiving yards. And I'll never forget, October 27th of 2013, he caught 14 balls for 329 yards. That seems almost like inconceivable.
Man, once again, shout out to Dave Keon for those dope highlight videos, man, that he put together. So I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. My guy, Calvin Johnson, let me read off some of you guys. Let me read off some of his numbers, his highlights of his awards. 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro, 1-time second team. That doesn't matter. All-Pro is All-Pro. 2-time NFL receiving leader, all-rookie team in 2007. NFL receptions leader in 2012, touchdown leader in 2008, 2010 all-decade team, Biletnikoff Award winner in college, ACC Player of the Year in 06, 2-time first team All-American in 05-06, 3-time first team All-ACC, ACC Rookie of the Year, NFL record, 1,964 receiving yards. Everybody in the DB room, do me a favor and welcome Calvin Johnson.
That red dot again came up. I don't know what that means.
CJ.
It look like it means recording.
CJ, what's good, man?
Mm-hmm.
CJ. Can you hear me? CJ. What happened to you? What's up, man? Can you hear me? CJ. CJ. Let me call her.
GQ.
CJ, can you see the show?
Nah, I see that. I see there's a red dot, but it's just still the wheels spinning.
Really?
Yeah.
We can see.
FaceTime. You see me?
We can see you. we can see you.
I can't hear nothing and see nothing.
You can't see nothing. You can't hear nothing.
Nah, I can't hear and see nothing.
Really?
BJ about to pull up what it looked like on the YouTube. I can't see nothing, man. I see like a red dot and show that it's like recording or whatever.
So you looking at it on YouTube or are you looking at it on through the link I sent you?
I'm looking at it through the link you sent me.
So
I'm with you now. I figured something out.
So can you hear me now?
On my cell phone.
We might have to do it.
Just
OG stuff.
hang up on your cell phone, and we should be able to hear.
All right, I'm gonna hang up on my cell phone and listen into this other device.
All right. Hey,
All right, cool.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
CJ.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? So you're gonna have to turn your YouTube down.
Okay, that's a little delay. Okay. You can't go off there. That's a delay.
Yeah, just look at the look at the screen that I sent you, and that's live.
Oh,
So
that's hilarious.
so the look at the screen that I sent you. That's what's live. YouTube gonna be a little delayed.
Look at the screen that I sent you. That's what's live.
So we good now?
YouTube gonna be a little delayed.
CJ.
Yeah, I can't hear you though. I can't hear you.
All right. Wait. Wow, this
I don't
is
know how much of a delay we got.
it's probably like 20
7
seconds.
All right.
But CJ, this is what you're gonna have to do. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. CJ,
CJ.
for some reason
All right,
I don't CJ, I don't think
I'm
you're
listening.
connected. So you may have to leave out and and like click the join button again, because I don't think you are connected, because we can all see you. We can all see you and we can hear you, but you can't hear or see us. Wow. Hey, this is a little comedy, man. This is funny. This is funny. I'm glad you guys are still entertained, man. I got some cool stuff, man. I don't know what happened to CJ. Like I don't know. Oh man, yeah, we're gonna get him to mute his computer, because I guess he was trying to watch it through YouTube. I don't know. But once he click back in, man, we'll get it going, man. You guys are the best. This is why I have my wine, because it gets tough, man. And these shows, man, are tough, man, to get guys. And you know, we got busy schedules, man, so I always appreciate these guys taking a little time. All right, I just got CJ to come back in. Let me add it. Now can you hear me? CJ, you're going to mute your YouTube and just listen to me through the app. Hey, mute your YouTube and just listen to me through the app. Hey, mute your YouTube and just listen to me through the app. That's better? Can you hear me now? You with? Yeah, we live. All right, so now he's in. Now he can hear me. So now that I had to redo all that, let me click on these shots real quick. It'll take like 30 seconds. All right, that's one. Boom. This is funny, but I appreciate the people that stick around and appreciate us. And that's what this show is going to be about. appreciation. We're going to show appreciation to CJ because he deserves it. So we are going to show him some appreciation. Okay. So give me, I'm just fixing all these shots and I got to start. I'm going to start back over because we put this on a podcast and we don't need all the extra on there. And the fact that it's not streaming to my Facebook, I'm gonna have to put the interview on my Facebook, so I'm gonna have to record it. So we don't want all the extra on there anyway. So just give me half a second. We're gonna start the whole show over. You guys like seeing the intros and the highlights and all that cool stuff anyway. And we just gave more people time to join. I don't know what you guys are doing on your Wednesday night, but we live and it's fun. And this is the reason why I like doing live, because it shows the human in us. We all make mistakes. We all get things wrong. CJ can hear me now. We are ready. So let me start this back over so it could be sounding good for the podcast. All right. So what's up, guys? We are back. We're live again. We are live tonight. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Calvin Johnson in the building. Okay, Calvin Johnson is in the building. I don't want to keep you guys because we've been going already. So let's just cut to it. All right, man, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited for tonight's show, man. You hear people say all the time about picking somebody's brain. Tonight, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the all-time great, a talent that you've never seen before in Calvin Johnson in the building. So I want to dive into his mindset. What made Calvin Johnson Megatron, okay? One of the ground rules that I laid down in the DB room at the very beginning was we appreciate people, okay? We appreciate people. So tonight, yeah, we're going to dive into his mindset and see what made him him. But we also want to just show some appreciation for just how great of a talent Calvin Johnson was. Let's get into it.
He still holds the single season receiving record for yards, almost 2,000 yards. He still holds the single season record for 100-yard games with 11. And over his 9 seasons, he led the NFL in receiving yards. And I'll never forget, October 27th of 2013, he caught 14 balls for 329 yards. That seems almost like inconceivable.
Man. Once again, shout out to my guy Dave Keon for these dope highlights, man. He saves me so much time. I appreciate that. So without further ado, man, I'm going to read off some of Calvin Johnson's career awards and highlights, man. Listen to some of these numbers, man, before I bring him out. 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time, 4-time All-Pro, 2-time receiving yards leader, All-Rookie team, NFL receptions leader in 2012, receiving touchdowns leader in 2008, 2010 All Decades 10, Biletnikoff Award winner in 2006, ACC Player of the Year, 2-time First Team All-American, 3-time First Team All-ACC, ACC Rookie of the Year, and the NFL record, 1,964 receiving yards in a season. My guys, my friends, welcome. Please, big round of applause for Calvin Johnson.
Thanks for the introduction, my man. Appreciate it. Much appreciated.
Let me cut that off so we get rid of the echo. Man, how you been, brother?
Doing great, man. Staying busy, family growing, just doing good, man.
Family growing, man. Where y'all living at, man?
Still in Michigan, business keeps me up here. All my family's in Georgia. That's where I want to be at. But business keeps me in Michigan. Nothing wrong with it though.
Nothing wrong with being in Michigan, brother. Detroit. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool, man. So tell me a little bit about, your quarantine life, man. How y'all been holding up in up in Michigan, man, with the quarantine?
Oh man, so Michigan, we're kind of we got hit hard. So the quarantine here is definitely something that you definitely have to reckon with. We got family members, distant family, friends of family that have been affected by it, people that have died from it. So up here especially, everybody's still conscious, wearing their masks. People in gloves. But that's like, I just came from Georgia a little while ago. I went down there. I drove down a couple weeks ago. Drove down probably like twice in the last month or so, back and forth to see my son down there. And, it's totally different. You would think there's no coronavirus down in Georgia. The way
really?
People act. People don't wear masks. People aren't wearing gloves. And, the protective measures are totally different.
Wow, man, that's crazy, man. I know here in Houston, it's kind of been a little weird, man. We've had the period of, quarantine, and then now we kind of got back into moving around, and some people wearing masks, some people not. I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. But it's this whole thing of COVID and everything like that is crazy. But man, like I said, man, I'm glad that you're here on the show, man. The fans, man, they've been excited all weeks ever since I announced it, bro. So you are the legend, man.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to talk to you, man. I always enjoy talking to you, dog.
Man, I'm gonna bring up one of the conversations that we had in the sauna, man. Just to bring it up. But
right.
But yeah, man. So I started doing these things, man, just because I wanted fans, I wanted people, for one, to get to know us better, man. And I didn't know, a superstar that you are, your story is so out there, man. So many people, have access to it if they want it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times the stories that we give and then we put out there, they're ESPN, NFL Network, those major, but we don't really get to dive deep into how we feel, man. And a lot of times as athletes, everybody always expect us to be great all the time, man. And a lot of people don't really ask us, how are you feeling, bro? So that's why I started doing these things, man, to show the human side of us, man, to be able to just pull the layers back, man, kick it, relax. And I told you when I told you this right here, man, I don't like talking about no BS, man. I'm not here to talk about all the nonsense. And I'm going to say this to the fans that was asking those questions. None of y'all questions got picked, asking me about the organization and none of that stuff. So that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to inspire. We're here to motivate. We're here to appreciate. We're here to congratulate. If you want to hear about all that stuff, go find another outlet, okay? If you don't want to hear about that stuff, this is not the stream for you tonight. So first thing I always have to do, though, man, I have to hear about, where a person is from and how they're raised, because that tells you a lot about who they are, and what they grew into. So tell me a little bit about, you born in Noonan, Georgia, but you end up going to school in Tyrone, which is, about 25 minutes away. So just tell me a little bit about where you grew up at and what it was like, influential people in your life.
Yeah, man. So many influential people in my life. I'll start growing up in College Park, born in Noonan, Georgia, grew up in College Park, just south of the airport. You hear it in a lot of hip hop music, College Park, grew up there, childhood, many friends, grew up playing sports in the streets. All of our parents would look out for the kids, on the block. We all got to play with each other and whatnot. Parents worked, multiple jobs. My mom, she worked as a flight attendant, then ended up working in the school system and worked her way up to administration. And my father worked for the railroad. He worked for the railroad for probably around 30 years. 30 plus years. Seeing him go to work every day. He was on call. So we couldn't control when they called and go to work. So every time, that phone rang, you're like, dang, we just started having fun,
Right.
Yeah, that's, it's always fun. And moms, she was always, not to say my dad wasn't disciplinarian, but mom's was definitely the disciplinarian, being the educator. She, there was always a point where, education trumped anything else. Us as, Black individuals, we have to be well educated if we want
Right.
to get ahead, and
Right.
that's something that probably a lot of Black holes that parents teach them. You have to work twice as hard and do things, extremely, try to be perfect,
Right.
strive for perfection, though we're not perfect. Those are just some of the base principles, the hard work, just the visualizing the parents going to work day in, day out. The principles, my mom said, like, hey, if you don't make anything, if you're making C's, anything below a B, you can't go on that sports field. You can't play no football. You can't play no baseball. You can't play no basketball. Your butt stay in the backyard. You can't go play in the cul-de-sac.
Really?
You can't go play football in the street. No, you stay in the backyard.
Man, that's funny.
So my mom, she didn't play. And my dad, he backed her. So it was, just to see that union, as a kid and still have my parents married to today, that means a lot too. Being able to, see it ain't perfect. Marriage ain't perfect, but there's struggles. But at the end of the day, it's just that unconditional love that keeps that thing together. A lot of principles there that I could take from my childhood. College Park, moved to Tyrone, where I went to high school, middle school and high school. But I'll go ahead. What you got?
I was just going to say, man, that's so great that you say that, because it was kind of the same for me. My parents, were the same way, and I was the same way. My dad told me, hey, you can play whatever you want to play. You just got to keep your grades up. If you don't, I remember getting grounded because I made a B. I made a C on one of my report cards, and I remember getting grounded for that. So it's great. My mom was an educator as well. My dad was a worker. So it's so crazy that we have similar backgrounds in that regard, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with why you are the way you are. But sports, having that you had the grades. When did you get into playing football and playing? You was a baseball player as well.
Yep.
When did you get into to playing those sports? What created that love?
Grew up baseball fan through and through. That's probably, I had a baseball was probably the first thing I probably had in my hands. Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite player growing up. I idolized Ken Griffey, tried to mimic the swing and everything, So needless to say, baseball was my first love. Got to being about 10 years old, and I'll be leaving Duncan Park, and I would see the Fairburn Flames. That's where actually Eric Berry played. He played.
Really?
He played football there when he was a kid. You see the little Pop Warner team, and they have like the blue helmets with the orange flames and the orange jersey. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I want to play football just because of the jerseys.
Right.
Out there. But I wanted to play so bad, and mom was willing to let me play. She was like, no, she feared I'll hurt myself, and I wanted to play so bad. I finally got her to agree to let me play. But she said I couldn't play till I got to 7th grade, and I was like, a couple years before I was asking to play, So she was like, no. She kept putting it off, and then 7th grade hit. That was my first time missing football pads.
Wow, dude, this is kind of getting creepy, man. I think our moms need to meet each other as educators, because I was the same exact way. I didn't play organized football till 7th grade. That is unbelievable, man. So when you walked on the field as a 7th grader, were you a monster, or were you like a different kid?
I was a different kid, man. I was average height. You couldn't pick me out of a crowd. I wasn't extraordinarily tall. I was slim and lanky. If I would have saw myself now looking at myself, oh, that kid gonna be tall. He was a big kid. But I didn't know any better at the time. I was just average height, and I wasn't playing receiver. I started playing running back and cornerback.
Really?
First 2 positions, and I saw the field more as a cornerback than I did a running back, because we had a pretty good running back at my school. I couldn't argue with that. But yeah, that's where I started. Yeah.
Wow, so that's something cool to hear right there, because you would think somebody that grew into Megatron would have, as soon as they touched the field, been a monster. So to see that, just some growth, hard work, some dedication, commitment, all those things, that you can really turn your game into, something that's unbelievable. And it takes some God-given ability, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, man. There's a quote. I forget it. I wish I had my notebook in front of me right now. I wasn't ready. But it went something along the lines of, those that are given, the God-given talent, and just are very good at what they're doing at a young age. They're not usually the same ones that are those ones that are selling at an older age, because oftentimes those ones that are that bloom later, there's some trials and things that they have to learn from in order to get to where they're going. So I wish I had that quote in front of me, but I just kind of paraphrased it. But no, I mean, like I say, it wasn't always pretty. This was like an ugly duckling for me at first. When I got to high school, I transferred over to receiver, and I couldn't catch a lick. They just called me Butterfingers and everything.
Really?
It was all bad. Yeah, it's bad. But to that, I was a receiver. I was skinny. I was built like a receiver. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to play football, I'm going to be a receiver unless I'm going to go play safety. And I don't want to play defense. I want to catch the ball. So hey. And I literally, bro, I don't know if you remember, man, they used to have these little footballs. They're like little plastic or rubber footballs, and they'll be on a rope, and you could tie the other end of the rope to the fence. Man, we used to be on that fence, man. I'd be throwing that ball away from the fence and let it come back all fast. But, it's just dedication, man. I was like, man, I ain't going to be out here dropping this ball. I got too much pride. I ain't going to be out here. I didn't realize it at such a young age. But it's just really just a strive for perfection that my parents had instilled in me. To put my best forward in everything that I do. And I was like, shoot, I'm out here dropping balls. That ain't the best I could do. There's a lot more. That's
crazy, man. Wow. So you get to high school, you go to high school in Tyrone, and it obviously clicked. You hit a growth spurt. Because you're you're over 6 feet tall, 6'3", 6'4" in high school, and you're clearly a monster. Let me read you some of this stuff, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I went and got something spectacular. This is just easy stuff for anybody. You were rated among the nation's top 10 wide receivers, top 100 players, and we're talking high school. We're not even talking your senior year. You was number 4 wide receiver. Number 15 player in the nation by the Insiders. You was named the Super Southern 100 by Atlanta Journal-Constitution. You was Rivals 100, the Insiders Hot 100, Super Prep All-American 275, the Prep Star Top 100 Dream Team. You was rated the best player in Georgia, number 12 in the Southeast, number 37 in the nation, number 7 wide receiver in the nation by Super Prep, and a first-team All-State selection. And you wasn't even a senior. How are you dealing with all that stuff for all these guys who are on campus and they get all these big accolades and everybody know them? And it's different now, obviously, with social media era. But how are you handling that on campus, trying to get your grades, but being this mega star in high school?
Honestly, man, I didn't know how to handle it. It wasn't until I'm gonna skip a lot of that and I'll come back, but it wasn't until I had a conversation with my coach. And so when I was a junior in high school or whatever, senior in high school, I had conversations with I had conversations with my high school coach, because I would be doing I'll go out around and get his he worked in ISS, in school suspension. I'll go get the work class work for all the students, whatever, that are in school. And, we would just talk, we sit there and talk sometimes if I have nothing to do. And, he said some things that he said out, things that your parents say, but when you hear from somebody else, it really clicks for you.
Right.
And he'd just be like, I really believe in you. I know that you could do this and that. And you're the best I've seen. And, just speaking confidence into me, and so not having that really done before, people sing your praises and stuff, but really sitting there having an eye-to-eye, man-to-man conversation with somebody, and you not knowing, me not knowing at the time, I don't know my worth. These people out here, they're looking at me from a distance. I can't see what they see at the time, because I'm just out here really just trying to better my craft, because I'm Butterfingers, I'm trying to get rid of that.
Right.
I'm right here, right now. I'm focused in on what I'm doing. I'm not looking at the 30,000-foot view of everything, or at that when I'm a junior in high school. So, I just hope that if I could say to anything, I just hope that there's somebody there to speak that confidence into these young people, because that really, I think, helps set the course for me. And one, just believing in myself, believing in the things that God has given me, and the work ethic and tying those things together, you create that superstar that we see out there on the field.
Man, that's big you say that, man. Just belief, man. People believing in you makes a huge difference, man. It makes a huge, coaches believing in you, showing appreciation. That stuff makes a difference.
It makes you believe in yourself.
Right. Because you don't want to let them down, right? They're putting you out there and they're telling you, I believe you can do it. And I said this earlier on one of the shows or one of the things I did, that I always like proving people right, because it's a difference when somebody doubts you and now I got to go prove you wrong, as opposed to, you know what, this person told me that I can do this,
100,
and you know what, I don't want to let them down. They believe that I can get it done, and I want to get it done because I don't want to let this person down. I think that is a huge thing that I feel like coaches nowadays, we need to do more and show more appreciation for our players. I know you may expect them to be good and expect them to do certain things, but show some appreciation for the things that they're doing, man. I got some that I want. Hold on. I got something I want you. I got something I want you to look at real quick, and just reminisce, man, and just tell me, man. Like, I just want to know, like, what does this feel like when you look at stuff like this? And this stuff is out there, man. This stuff is out there, but it's just some old school Megatron in high school, man.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what I think about. Oh, okay, you got a couple clips. Okay. Let me see what you got here.
Man, I was looking at these films, man. They make us look old, but
they make us look so old. Yeah,
it's dope that they got this stuff out there, man. I always want to know what guys look like in high school when they were monsters, bro.
I didn't know some of the stuff was out there, man. I really did. I know. I felt like we just had video at some games. Like I feel like we didn't have video at all the games, but apparently we did. I remember some of this stuff though. Yeah. Wow.
Man, what like? Tell me, what is that? You say you remember some of that stuff. Talk to me about some of those feelings that you're feeling. I see you smiling, man. Happy to see.
It's
tell me
crazy.
about it.
It's just crazy because it's so much that happened between that time and now, and it seems like all of that just happened like that. There's so much content in there to go back and just unravel, to start to go back and try to unravel those things. You kind of get blocked because there's so many events, so many moments that you remember. Time goes, but it's in big moments that you remember, and there's a lot of those moments, especially in our career, in the life that we lived playing in the NFL.
Wow, man, that's so crazy, man.
That's nostalgic, obviously. That's crazy. Yeah.
And another thing I like about what you said, man, and I need to say this because we see it too often in our game. Guys who are super talented as young kids, they don't get the proper coaching. They don't get the proper critique because they are so good, and coaches are just happy that they're on a team. And that's why you see some of these guys make it to the NFL and their technique is awful, their form is bad, and they can't last even though they're incredible talent. So guys, coaches, anybody out there, if you're coaching a star in the making, I promise you, he will respect you more if you coach him hard. Show him 100%. That you want him to be better. Don't let him settle for just being good. Coaches, please do that. What do you say about that, man? You see that nowadays?
Man, so my story. Who my coach was for most of my career in that receiver room. And the first thing he's trying to ask me on the day when he became my actual the head receiver coach, he's like, "Do you want to be great?" Yes, and he asked me randomly, "Do you want to be great today?" Just in between, like during the season. But the first question he asked, "Do you want to be great?" And you're like, "Okay, well, damn, you know what? I'm gonna coach you like you want to be great." And he coached me like I wanted to be great. He pushed me. He never let me relax, and he coached me that way because he knew if he coached me that way, then he knew that everybody else in the room knew that they could get it too. He knew that they should be able to receive that coaching if I could. So 100%, man. I appreciate him for Sean Jefferson for big shout out to him because, like I said, I always say this is the best receiver coach I ever seen, man. Just because not only the attention to detail, the work that we go through, but he's a life coach as well. His football life. I talk to him to this day.
That's awesome, bro. Sometimes these coaches, man, they make a huge difference in our life, and you build those relationships with them, man. But going back to high school, man, obviously, like I said, all this stuff happened before your senior year, and now your senior year, you this national phenom, and all types of schools coming after you, and you decided to go to Georgia Tech, and I know Georgia Tech is not, it wasn't a receiving type of school. They run, triple option, right? But
See, that's where you're wrong, GQ.
What, y'all threw the ball a lot?
That everybody knows because of that dang triple option Paul Johnson brought, but I left before Paul Johnson came. I had Chan Gailey as my coach. Chan Gailey, he's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
True that. I'm wrong.
They had Irvin, they had Ankman. We had to put it like we had a professional style offense when I was at Tech.
Oh, okay.
Everybody asked me like, how was that triple option? I don't know.
You know why? You know why? Because nobody really knows about Georgia Tech until Calvin Johnson got there. And the only thing they remember is triple option. That's what people remember. I know I've always remembered that. But even at that, some of the major big schools in the country was coming after you, and you decided to say, you know what, I'm going to focus on my academics. This is a good academic school for me. I'm a talented guy. I mean, we say this all the time. If you can ball, they're going to find you. But I'm going to focus on my academic. I'm going to choose an academic school over maybe some of the higher athletic schools. Like, where did that come from? I know you say your mom had a lot to do with that, but just tell me how you was feeling about that.
I honestly feel like I was brainwashed as a kid. I think my dad got me hooked when he took me to a Georgia Tech football game when I was a kid. I kind of fell in love with football a little bit then. There at the flats in the middle of Atlanta, being at that stadium right in the middle, hovering in the middle of Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, with the skyline in the background. And it's like, what a better place. I mean, it's an awesome place to go to school, play football and whatnot. But decided on going to Georgia Tech. I mean, the statistics, you never know. I mean, it's such a small number of people that actually make it to the NFL. Me just being realistic, I feel like I'm a great talent. I feel like I'm special. I feel like, I could do anything I put my mind to. I mean, just because that's how I was raised. But I knew that if I got a degree from Georgia Tech, that's going to take me anywhere I want to work.
Right.
And versus going to, I really like Georgia. I really like Georgia. I like Clemson, right there in the South. Those are two other schools that I really, really like. I could have really saw myself going to. But at the last minute, I was just like, hey, man, let me go to this school, be the engineer or a building construction major or a management major that I want to be and be able to go and work wherever I want to work because of the connections that Georgia Tech has. And, I mean, at the end of the day, my parents also wanted me to go to Tech, and, that they made that known. But,
right.
But I still feel like it was my decision, and I really decided it when I went on my visits, and I really loved the vibe that I got when I went to Georgia Tech from the team. I spent a lot of time with Reggie Ball, the quarterback, on that visit. I loved it. I mean, versus the same. I mean, when I went to Georgia, it just wasn't the same feel. But Georgia Tech, when I went there, I felt like I was at home.
Man, that's good, man. That's good. Wow, that's incredible. And you went there. You could have played football, could have played baseball. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can speak for America when I say we're glad you chose football, brother. It was a sight to see. And so you go on to college, man. You have an incredible career. You win the Biletnikoff, and I'm gonna try to keep it going because, like I said, I got some stuff that I want to talk about for appreciation and to get into your mindset. So, we go through college, you ball, you forego your senior year. Anytime you can do that, you're obviously playing at a high level. I got to hear this story from you, though, and that's all I want to touch on. I just got to hear from you because it's been out there. Tell me the combine story, man. What happened with the 40? Like, I just got to hear from you. I never asked you while we were there, but I just got to hear straight from the goat's mouth.
That's hilarious. So let me clarify and make this story accurate so everybody knows what really happened. So at the combine, had no intention of doing anything at the combine. Talked to my agent, so he just really, nothing, no reason for you to go and do anything. You have nothing to prove. I mean, the only thing you can do is make yourself look worse because you're already at the top. You're already where you need to be. So, you know, a lot of doubters out there, they felt like, you know, I weighed in around at 240 at the combine.
Right.
And I was yoked up, man. We were lit. You know, you go before the season, you get as strong, get your body as conditioned as possible. And that's what I was doing. I was going in all these camps. You know, I'm trying to get yoked up. I was 240 plus, you know, at the combine. And there's a lot of rumors like, dang, how's he going to run at 240? He weighs like 5 pounds more than he usually does or something like that. So I was like, okay. So I asked my agent, I was like, can you send me some cleats? I'm going to run this 40. I'm going to show him. Just like that. And he next day me a pair of cleats, right? So next day me the cleats. And I started, and then so the guys are going out on the field to run the 40. And I go out there, and they're like, what you doing out here? You know, because, you know, I wasn't supposed to run technically because I just said I wasn't going to do anything. But right before our group ran, there's a quarterback that had a word size 15 like I did, and he didn't have his cleats. We had to combine your biggest job interview of your life, and you ain't got your cleats, you tripping. Wow,
that's crazy.
He didn't have his cleats, so I let him use my cleats to run in, and he was the last one to run. And since he's the last one to run, as the last group is finishing out, they're calling the next group over to the starting line. So I'm getting yelled at at the rookie combine because I'm late. I'm waiting for the dude to bring I'm like, come on, hurry up, bring my shoes, you know. You know, he finally brings me the shoes, and everybody see me putting on these shoes that he gives me, and they're like, oh, shoot, he ran to somebody else's shoes.
Wow. Wow.
I get my own shoes back.
I know. I believe the same thing. Calvin Johnson grabbed somebody. I'm sitting there like the competitive juices got to flowing. He see these guys running. He know he is the fastest probably and the biggest. You know what? I'm just gonna grab somebody else's shoes. I don't even know what size they are, and I'm just gonna go run this 4.3 and shut you guys up. That's what I thought. So I'm glad you clarified that.
I knew I wasn't the fastest, but the guys I trained with down in at Tom Shaw down in Orlando, we had I think like maybe 3 or 4 of the top like 8 combine times that year. I think Yaman Figures, he was the fastest one. We actually trained together. Yeah. You know, he was the fastest one down there. LaRon Landry had one of the faster times. Yeah. Chris Houston, I believe, was down there. Yeah. You know, I was down there. So we had guys that were smoking in that combine.
Wow, y'all had some. Wow, that's dang, man. So yeah, I'm glad you clarified that. So now we can put that rumor to bed that Calvin Johnson ran in his own shoes. He just let this quarterback run in them first. That's very generous of you. Like you said,
man,
the biggest interview of, you know, our lives, and you let somebody else run in your shoes first. That speaks a lot about who you are, man. So you go through the process, you get drafted to the Detroit Lions, right? But you went number 2. Did you feel any way about going number 2? Did you feel like you should have been number 1? And, you know, did that put any kind of chip or anything on your shoulder that you went number 2?
Honestly, I'll give you my honest thoughts about that time. Sitting there, you know, leading up to the draft, I'm like, shoot, boy, I hope I go to Atlanta. Play my high school ball, play my college ball right here, and then play in the NFL right here, man. That would be just the best little thing ever, you know. I was sitting there like, okay, Atlanta got number 7. I'm hoping I might not be there at number 7. I was like, I might not be there at number 7, but I hope they trade up to get me. I hope they trade up to get me. I was really hoping they trade up to get me. But I also thought I might end up going to Tampa as well. I had a pretty good workout with John Gruden. He brought up a couple quarterbacks. It was David Boston at the time, maybe Mark Clayton. I forget Sims, the quarterback. Came up to Georgia Tech. We had a good workout, so I thought I might be going to Tampa at number 4. You know, I honestly didn't want to go to Oakland. Didn't want to go across the country. Didn't want to go to Detroit. It's so far north. But hey, man, I mean, that's the thing about the NFL. Nobody has control over where you go unless you're Eli Manning.
We always say that joke. Heck yeah! Wow, that's crazy. So you get to Detroit, and you know, real quickly, you got a teammate, and he dubs you this name Megatron. Tell me about that, and how'd you feel about that? And like, tell me, like when he first started calling you Megatron, what was your reaction?
Yeah, '07. I think the first Transformers came out. The movie came out that summer or whatever, and I guess we're getting ready for the year, first season. And Roy just started calling me this Megatron. At first, I didn't know what it's called because when I was a kid, I knew it was Transformers and all that, but I wasn't a huge fan.
Right.
So I was like, and excuse me, Transformers fans, please forgive me. Originally I thought that Megatron was a good guy. I thought he was Optimus Prime. I thought I was a good guy. So I was like, okay, I could dig it. I'm the Megatron. I'm the Megatron. Okay, I'm the good bad guy or whatever. And I realized he's the actual bad guy. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. Well, all right, it's cool. I'll be the bad guys to the defense. That's all good. I'll take that. But he just started calling me that, and it really didn't catch on for like a year later. He's just like, man, you big and fast, and this movie just came out, just perfect timing. In '08, that's when actually announcers actually started using it.
Wow, that's crazy. So you go on, and you have this crazy career. Do you ever look at highlights of yourself when you play? Do you ever look at highlights?
I was watching something today, and there's a highlight that came up. It was of our we played. Were you with us when we played Oakland? I don't know what I was looking at. It was like Oakland back in like 2012 or something like that. We went out there. It's a playoff implication game for us. It was a late game. We had a game-winning touchdown in that one, me and Matt. Like that, I don't know why it came up. I was looking at something, and it popped up on my screen. But yeah, actually, if I see something, I'll watch it. Yeah.
Well, we gonna just a couple. Just a couple.
Wants Calvin out there. Throws it up.
He's got it.
Calvin's got it inside the 20 and forced out at the 16-yard line. Calvin Johnson beat Rondé Barber.
Culpepper airing it out into double coverage. Did Johnson come down with the ball? He did.
Man, I won all of them.
Stafford has all day. And he's got Calvin Johnson. On first down all day for Stafford, who goes to the end zone. Jump ball, touchdown. Megatron is in for the touchdown. Calvin Johnson. That is unbelievable right there. Calvin Johnson comes off the ball. Matthew Stafford sees that he's not open, that there's two defenders down there covering him, and he just alley-ooped it.
Matthew rolls the pocket to the right. Pumps, now comes back to the left, looking deep, throw into the end zone, wants Calvin, well covered, he goes up, he makes the catch, are you kidding me? Oh, Megatron, you did it again, touchdown Detroit Lions. There were three Bengals draped on him, and Calvin went up and hauled it in, 50 yards and a score.
I want it more than you.
So bad, like I see you just smiling when you watch that, man. It has to feel incredible, man. But somebody put a question in the comment, and I thought it was a good question, so I'm gonna ask you: is there any stories behind any of those plays, man? Did any one of them mean, any more to you? Any trash talk going into a game that made you just excited? But like, man, those are some incredible plays, man. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's always games that get you juiced up, man. I remember there was a game. And, I don't really get caught up in it, but there's just like one game we were playing the Dallas Cowboys, and it was what?
Oh, man. Calvin left us. Where'd you go, CJ? There you go. Mm-hmm.
Dad's the best one in the league. CJ is going to shut him down. I ain't one to really, I don't really, it's hard to get me juiced up, but you got to be talking some mad trash because people talk all the time. They don't really get me excited. But when a coach talking trash, though, especially when you're the D coordinator, yeah, I'm juiced up. I'm looking forward to really wrecking your defense. And we were able to do that, man. And we played on Cowboys, man, made them look foolish. They make them look foolish because it was a good game, but we ended up shutting them up at the end of the game.
Man, that's incredible, man. Like I love hearing all this stuff, man. This, like I said, I didn't, when I got to Detroit in 2013, I really, was trying to play. I wasn't trying to be a fan, although I was a fan, watching every move, competing, practices and all those good things, man. So it's really cool, man, to be able to hear some of these things, man, and to hear from an all-time great, man, because your mind and your mindset and your body, everything has to be different. Like you have to be able to process and deal with so many different things, man. And that leads me to this question that I had, because I know you personally, you know, from a teammate standpoint. I know your personality. I've been around you in the locker room, in the weight room. How did you separate Calvin Johnson Jr. from Megatron? Because I feel like those are two different people, right? Those are two different people. I've seen you off the field. I've seen you on the field, on your team and against you. How did you separate Calvin Johnson Jr. from Megatron?
Honestly, it was really just why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? And I was just thinking about those things before every game. Why do I do this? I do this for my family, you know. The way we were raised, I have no reason to go out here and not give my best of my ability, because I know in everything that they're doing, they're giving the best of their ability. You know, when my mom got diagnosed with cancer, she gave her the best of her ability to fight it. You know, my dad was working on the railroad, having to get called at you know, wee hours in the morning or night. You know, I know he was doing it to work his tail off to do it for us. You know, he was working. You know, he was putting in the time. Dang, I kind of lost where I was going. What was the question again?
I was just asking, how did you separate Calvin Johnson Jr. from Megatron?
Yeah, so those things, you know, that I think about that drive me, you know, that's those things that drive me to strive for perfection in everything that I do. That drive that doesn't allow those practices to get, you know, mundane. Because why? Because I'm always finding something to do. I'm trying to find something to work on, and I feel like in doing those things and not just trying to find, you know, things to work on. You know how they say practice makes perfect. No, man, a perfect practice makes perfect. You know, you can practice bullshit and you be good at bullshit too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, trying to put a perfect effort to the things that I'm doing on a daily basis. When I get to the field or when I get to the facility, just going into that mindset, just trying to perfect everything that I do. And then when I get to the field on Sunday, or I get to the practice field, or when I get to the field on Sunday, I can just unleash and just play freely, because I put in the work, I put in the focus during the week, and I just let instinct take over on Sunday. And the fire comes from, like I say, I cannot allow my family. I can't let my family down. I can't let those people around me down. I can't let my fans down. I can't let my friends. I mean, that over time, that whole list of things of people that you don't want to let down, or things that you're doing this for, that it grows over time. But at the same time, you got to be able to compartmentalize and say, hey, what am I really doing this for? You know, and doing it for my family. I want to set an example through the way that I do my do things. And what a better way than to do it on the NFL football field, where every moment is captured on film.
And that they are. And we have a lot of them, and we enjoy watching them. I mean, I asked my son today, because I don't know if you remember, when I first got to Detroit, my sons came out and you actually took a picture with them. And, you know, we still look at that picture. And I asked my son today, my oldest, and I was like, hey, man, you know who this is? He's like, oh, yeah, that's Calvin Johnson. I look at his highlights on TV. I mean, on YouTube all the time. I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So
tell the boys I said hello, man. Give them a high five for me, man.
I will, man. I might have them come in towards the end of the show so they can say what's up to you, man.
Oh, man, I know they're big.
Heck yeah. And they playing baseball, too. They playing baseball. They balling, man. So you talked about what you do it for and how you do it, man. I've been at practice with you. I've seen all the go routes that you ran in practice, man. I've seen the miles that you put on your body in practice, man. And so I know I mean, we spent many of days in the training room together. Like if anybody know what you felt like, bro, I know. And honestly, I was your teammate, man, But I was honestly trying to compete with you because I'm like, if Calvin's in the weight room, I need to be in the weight room. Calvin's up here in the training room. I need to be here in the training room. Like, Calvin's practicing. He just played a game. I'm practicing too. So, like you said, you wanted to lead by example. You did that, brother. Conditioning, I hated conditioning, but I had to run because Calvin was running like a gazelle. That is just what you did, man. So I definitely appreciate you for that. So I'm going to get into this segment because I want to hit these real quick. So I do this thing with the fan questions where I have, instead of having to try to read all the comments and find fans, I like to try to focus on what you're talking about so we can have a good conversation. So I have some fans send in questions, and I kind of choose the question that I want to ask based on a good question. Like I said, all the bull crap, I'd be like, nope. Mm-hmm. But I got a couple good questions because, like I said, I wanted to get into the mindset of Calvin Johnson. Okay, so we're gonna go to this first fan question, and it is from. Let me see. Let me check my notes. This first question is from Ryan Harris, I think. And his question was, were there any particular things that DBs did to cover you that made it harder for you to beat them during a route?
Yes. So I think that I'll give you two answers. I'll give you the worst thing DB can do and the best thing that he can do, Ryan. So I'd start with the worst thing DB could do is be aggressive and be overly aggressive and want to lunge at you at the line of scrimmage because, I mean, he has a small percentage chance of really sticking you a moving target. And if it's man to man, I mean, that's daily because you'll get beat for a touchdown and doing that. Now, what I hated as a receiver was when a defensive back, he was show press, but at the snap, he would do a soft release, a catch release, I guess is what they call it. Do a catch release and really just absorb you and really just latch on and then follow you wherever you go. I really hated the catch release. Saw it a lot when we played like a two or a quarters team. But that was one of the worst ones because this is really you get to doing your quick release off the line of scrimmage. Excuse me, you get doing your quick release, and he's slowly just drifting back while you're dancing at the line of scrimmage, and you're like, "Dang, I got to eat up ground." And
right.
Next thing you know, your timing's off. So I mean, you should be able to tell that in film though if they like to use that technique, and when you see it, you just got to go. You can't waste time on the line of scrimmage.
Wow, and it's great that you brought up. You should be able to see it in film because that leads me to the second question from the fans. And it comes from, I think his name is Luca Craigie. And his question was, how did you approach matchups? Were you constantly trying to analyze their every move and take advantage? Or did you study before the game and look out for some things, but mostly just play your game?
Yes, great. I definitely watch my film on my opponent that I'm going to play. I really want to see a couple of main things. How does he initiate? How does he start the game? How does he finish the game? Is this the same player at the beginning and at the end of the game? I like to see what's his technique. Does he like to press? Does he like to really get his hands on the receiver? Does he like to play off? Does he like to play that catch technique that I just talked about? So really, I just get to know the defensive back that I'm going against. If I know that I'm going against one person, oftentimes I would have multiple defenders I'll go against. So I would just have to study whoever I'll potentially be going against, depending on the position I'm playing. Not only do I study the actual defender, actual person I'm going to be playing against, I try to get an idea for the coverages and the looks they like to use, or if they like to disguise things. So really just getting an understanding for the player and himself personally from watching the film and understanding what the coverages look like so I can recognize them more instinctually on the run.
Yes, that's you have to do that. You when you go to the games, you have to be able to just play, and you can't be thinking out there. You have to be prepared. You have to know what to expect. And I mean, you probably seen every coverage that a receiver could possibly see from. I mean, you probably had D linemen come out there on you at some point just to try to hit you at first, and then you have a corner catching you, and then another safety back there. You've seen so many things, and there's been multiple DBs. I mean, probably every DB that you played against, if you just asked them, spoke of the nightmare that you were to prepare for. Pat P has came out, obviously. Stephon Gilmore, who actually is going to be on the show next week. Stephon Gilmore, Defensive Player of the Year, came. He told me,
I like that kid, man.
Dude, he told me 2-3 days ago that you were by far his toughest receiver to cover. Right, Slay has been out, obviously talking about how much he benefited from having to guard you every single day, one-on-ones and practice and all that good stuff. What one cornerback did you look forward, to competing against?
Man, unfortunately, I didn't have a long time to compete with this guy, and I really felt like he really kind of slapped me straight in a literal sense when I first got to the league. When I got to the league, Green Bay Packers had Al Harris. Al wasn't the fastest guy, but Al was very savvy and he was very aggressive and super physical. Wanted to get his hands on you on every play. I didn't know nothing about Al until it didn't take me playing Green Bay to learn about Al Harris, because I would hear whenever we watch any film, I hear Roy Williams complaining about Al, like talking about Al always holding, Al always putting his hands in the face, yada yada yada. Al, I'm like, dang, like is he that bad? Like shoot. So I got a dose of it, my first game playing Green Bay Packers. I'm thinking like, okay, Roy the number one receiver, so he like the number one cornerback. He gonna cover Roy the whole game, so I ain't got to worry about him. Man, they had this dude on me the whole game, man. I really learned from the first play. If this is how the NFL is gonna be, where I'm getting slapped in my mouth, oh shoot, every play. Okay, I got a long way to go. So, I mean, it really just kind of got my mindset right to the point where it's just like, I got to be a dog out here. I got to hit you in the mouth first, and I got to hit you in the mouth every play and hit you in the mouth from play 1 to play 60. You can't let up. And I think that playing Al really, I heard it from Sean Jay. He's like, you got to get, every play, you got to be the same. You hear it from your coaches. But then when you play somebody like that, that's really in your face, giving it to you every play, you're like, oh, shoot. You know how that feels going against somebody like that. You're like, okay, that's how imposing I want to be on anybody that I play.
Wow. That's good, man. That's good. And Al Harris was a monster. I mean, I loved Al. I mean, Rasheem Mathis that, we had in Detroit reminded me so much of Al, man, just from their look and their style.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it's those lessons that you learn going against those vets, going against those monsters that, like you said, you have to recognize real early. If I want to play in this league, I got to raise my game. I got to raise my level, because this is what it's like each and every week. It's not like college where once every 2 or 3 weeks, maybe I play against an NFL caliber DB. Every single week, I'm getting the best guys, man. And so kudos to you. And then, like I said, we kind of go through your career, man. I don't even want to ask you a question about it. I just want to acknowledge that I'm glad that you made it through the 2008 season, man. I know that was, I think it was 2008. I know that was rough, man.
Yeah,
you know what?
Yeah.
I don't
we
even
all talked about how long we want to play football after that one. It was like, hey, man, I don't know how long I want to do this.
Dude, I know that was tough, man, especially for you. But then 2009, you got draft Stafford, and now you got nice gunslinger quarterback, guy that can really, really, really throw the ball. And it took y'all a couple years. Stafford dealt with some injuries. Took y'all a couple years, but 2012, things really, really clicked for you guys, for your offense, for you. Having an incredible year, leading the league in all the categories, breaking the record. Matter of fact, check out this clip, man.
4 yards away is Johnson. Stafford throws. There it is! Megatron into the record books. The single-season all-time NFL receiving yardage record.
This is emotional to me to see this type of support for their favorite player, Calvin Johnson.
So I know I got to let you go, man. I got
You good?
three more questions for you, man. But tell me about that, man. You know, breaking an NFL record, not a high school record, not a college record. You're breaking an NFL record from a guy, Jerry Rice, who has been regarded as one of the greatest of all time wide receiver. You break his record and you do it in Atlanta in front of your people, man. Like, tell me, what are you feeling like on that day? Because, I mean, you probably knew, like, okay, I can get it done, man. Tell me, what were you feeling? And just tell me what that moment felt like to you.
All right, so it was the Saturday before Christmas or something like that. They always make that game the Monday night football game. They move it to Saturday or something like that around Christmas time.
Right.
So it was Monday night football. I think they came to Detroit. I think Atlanta came to Detroit. Nonetheless, what a better team, you know, the home team, you know, coming and doing it up against the home team, and to do it in the fashion that it was done, it's unbelievable. Honestly, 'cause like I said, I always like to give credit to Sean Jefferson, man. He was my motivator a lot during these times. You know, it's never easy, you know that, but having somebody push you, you know, having somebody let you, you know, I wouldn't have probably pushed. I mean, I probably would have pushed and worked hard like I did, but I had no idea where I was in when it comes to the record. I didn't know I was like however many 200 yards away from it coming into the game, you know. But then when we get to the game day, Sean Jay is like, "Hey, you can have you a 200-yard game today. You can go ahead and get this thing over with." You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and
right.
He was dead ass serious. I'm like, and, you know, he just do like he was like, and you know. And I feel it, you know. I'm feeling good, you know. I like that we play on a team that plays like a lot of single high. You know, there's opportunities here, you know. And yeah, I had I think 200 plus in that game, man. Broke the record. It's a heck of a feeling, man, to do those things. Like I say, it seems like that stuff was just like here and yesterday, but then it seems so long away. But I think stuff happens like that when you just put your head down and you grind, man, and you just stacking good days on top of good days because hey. When you're putting in work, man, time flies by. Like it really does.
Man, that's incredible, man. I just really wanted to know like what that felt like from the man himself. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have these dreams, man. You know, and everybody can't be that. But you're truly a Hall of Fame talent, man. You're truly a stand up guy, man. I got something else for you, CJ.
You good? What's up?
You come off of, you know, retirement that, and I'm gonna bring this up. You know, I said I was gonna talk about one of our sauna conversations.
Yeah.
So, do you remember being in the sauna? And you know, I'm sitting there, and it was just me and you, I think, at this time. And like I said, I try not to be a fan around you. I try to keep it professional, like, you know, man, that's CJ. Like I'm just gonna. But I catch you in the sauna, and I ask you, I say, CJ, how long you want to play, right? Because that's a question that I ask a lot of players, not just CJ. I ask a lot of players that. And this was probably 2013 or 2014. And you told me then, you was like, sure, man, I probably only want to play like 2 more. And that was then, right? So when the news came out that you had retired, I was like, man, he told me he was going to do this 2 years ago. He told me that he was feeling like, man, I'm probably going to play 2 more years, man. But I know that decision probably wasn't the most popular for a lot of people just because you were still in what people feel like your prime. But you have came out and said you didn't feel like you could play up to Calvin Johnson standards, and that led to your decision to say, hey man, I don't want to put a product out there that I'm not proud of. Speak on that a little bit.
100%. I told my dad that before I even stepped on the NFL field. I was like, because I remember being asked a question one time, like, how long would I want to play? I was like, yeah, I would love to play like 10 years, you know, have like 1,000 yards a year, you know, just kind of leave my stamp on the game, you know, things I know I could do going into it, you know, and, you know, 10 years is my mark, you know, and what my biggest thing was that I want to play until I feel like that. Once I feel like I'm not the same product on the field, once I feel like I can't do the same things that I was doing in the past, that I used to be able to do and be as productive as I am and be that number one receiver and do anything and play every position on the field as far as receiver goes. If I couldn't bring that product to the field, I don't deserve to be out there. I shouldn't be out there. For me personally, it's I drive myself crazy. Not being able to. It sucks not being able to be healthy and be out there and playing against people. And not to say everybody is 100% healthy, but when you're playing a leg down, when you can't, when you can't get it,
right?
You can't dig.
No question.
And it got to that point, for me. And I had told my dad after my 8th year, I was like, hey, I'm hanging them up. I'm done. Like, I can't do it. I can't dig out of my stance. I can't get it. I can't hit that next gear like I need to anymore. And he was like, you think you could do it one more time? And it was literally a little pause. And during that pause, he was like, yep, you can do it one more time. And I was like, all right, you're right. I can do it. I can put up with it one more time.
One more.
So I went back. I went back for that last year. I think my big thing, like I said, I accomplished the goals. The only thing I didn't accomplish was playing 10 years, but I wanted to pass 10,000 yards receiving. Like I said, getting 1,000 yards a year. I did that after my eighth season, So I was just like, let me come back again and do this. And the funny thing is, I was telling guys all that year, like my receiver group, I'll tell them all that year, like I'm gonna retire just like Kobe did. May he rest in peace.
Wow.
I'm gonna retire just like he did. I'll be saying that while we eating lunch and stuff like that, and guys like, hey, you crazy. I was like,
wow.
I'm crazy. I'm dead serious.
Hey man, that's good, man. I'm glad you retired, man. And the thing is, bro, I'm glad you were in a position and you were happy with yourself. You were happy with what you had done, and you felt confident enough to say, I'm gonna walk away, because I do feel like sometimes guys, they stick around a lot just because I feel like they're trying to recoup mistakes that they made early in their career. They spent too much money and now they're trying to make up money on the back end or for whatever reason. And I'm glad that you value your life, you value your health, you value yourself, which you've always done over playing a sport. You left your mark in 9 years, man, and you left with people still wanting you to play. And still to this day, they're hitting the comments up here now. They're still asking, Calvin, will you come back? Will you come back? So I know that feels good for you. But I got 2 more things for you, man, before I let you go. And like I said, I know this is dope, man. I love this right here, man, because this is
I
good.
love talking to my guys, man.
People need to hear this, bro.
I wish we could do this more.
People need to hear this stuff, man, because there's so many young kids. For one, there's young kids that's dealing with what we've already been through, but more importantly, there's parents that have the kids, so they need to know how to deal with a kid that's a superstar in high school. They need to know how to deal with that, right? They need to know what that's like. But then fans need to know. Like, I want fans. Obviously, fans are fans, and I love the fans. The fans are great, but be a fan of your team, kind of how I asked you about Calvin Johnson and Megatron. Be a fan of your team, but appreciate what these guys are doing, because it's hard to play this game, man. And so I think we need more of this, where people just can tell their story and just tell how they feel, how things made you feel. And so that's going to definitely lead me to this next question. And I got a little video. And it's probably about a minute and a half, but we got to watch this because this is incredible. This is so different from Calvin. I was so surprised. And matter of fact, it may lead to the 4th question, but we're going to watch it right now and check this out.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
Oh boy! No, you got the whole thing, huh?
Don't worry, baby.
Oh man! Hey, this is fun, man. I can't say I enjoyed the heck out of it.
'Cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. double as fast as I can. Don't you know that there ain't no mountain high enough? Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no river wide.
See, they're supposed to cut to the footwork on that. They messed up. Now that was a heck of a surprise right there.
Yes.
That was a good one. That was a surprise right there. And my dad was there. That was dope.
Man, I'm sure that was a great moment. And I think that leads me to the third question from Kim McQuaid. She said, how did you like competing on Dancing with the Stars? I voted for you every week. You were amazing.
Kim McQuaid, I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Oh man, I'll tell you, that was a thrill of a lifetime. You know, honestly, let me get the only negative thing I have to say about it was they ain't pay me enough for that. I had to work too many hours, bro. Look, this how they get you. This how they get you. They tell you, we need you 4 days a week, you know, like 3, 4, or 5 hours a day for your practice. I'm like, oh shoot, you know, I can knock that out early, you know, 8 to 1, 8 to 12, and I'm boom, I got the rest of my day. They didn't tell you as you go on, shoot, you can add almost like an hour to your practice sessions every week. You got to add like another, 20 seconds to your dance routine. You know, so it ended up being like we'll have like 12-hour days. You know, we'll have a dance we go live on Monday and we'll go straight to practice because we got 2 or 3 dances to learn by next Monday. You know, so but it was a challenge. It was a heck of an experience being in LA. My partner was great, Lindsay Arnold. She's the best there. She won the mirror ball. I was a finalist. I didn't win. But she won the mirror ball like a year or two or a season or two later. So I knew she was going to get it. She'll probably get many more. But heck of experience. Loved it. Loved the fan. Loved just doing it live. I love performing live. That was fun, man. Just being on that live stage.
Yes.
Like you literally, bro, you be out there, you hear the click, 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 click. Your music goes. And then you're like, when the click is going, you're like, oh, shoot, what are my first steps? I'm like, oh, you go blank. And then once the music come on, you've done it so many times, just like I talk about practice. And I did it. I try to do it the best of my ability, do it right. So when that music hit, I'm like, oh, it's instinctual. And I go right into my dance moves. So it was a lot of hard work, man. But I'd say that my partner was great. You know, one negative thing I would say about her was that she used me, man. Like she used me to do all these lifts that she's never even tried before. You know, stuff that she just invented. And like you will see there's one dance on there I did. It's like the Hotel California. It was a tango I did. You know, I had this little red thing with my shirt open and joint. But there's a lift I did in there that she made up, and it's like a little helicopter thing. You should check it out, man. It's pretty fire.
I am, man. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. So, man, this has been great, man. I got one last question from a fan, and you know, this is more of a good question for Calvin Johnson. It's from Pride of Detroit, the podcast. It says, what are your personal goals for the rest of your life, man? And what do you just want your legacy as a person to be? Not as a player, just, you know, as a good person. What do you want your legacy to be?
You know, I want to, in my efforts right now is just to create the legacy of giving. I was raised in a giving household. My mother is a very spiritually connected person. My grandfather was a preacher. So, you know, we were raised in the church. And I was always of the impression that, you give your last, give unconditionally, love unconditionally. And, you know, those are the things. That's why, you know, I am the way I act the way I do around people. I'm not a mean-spirited person. You know, I'm a loving person. I love to greet people. You know, I'm an introvert through and through. You know,
right.
But when I'm around people, you know, I love to see people flourish. I want to see good things for everybody. You know, so I hate when I get to talking. I lose the whole question you asked me.
Well, it was just about your legacy, what you want to leave as a person, man.
Yeah, I just want to be known as a really just a giver, a philanthropist. I can't say philanthropist. You know, I'm creating the business I'm creating right now just to create more avenues for me to give and connect with my community, and whether it's a social equity capacity or through my foundation. You know, just me spending time with kids and helping them become productive members of society. I mean, that's the main mission of my foundation. So just having an impact, exposing kids to all the greater things there are that this life has to offer, and just showing them there's another way. You know, you don't have to play sports. You don't have to rap. You know, you could be exposed. You could be a scientist. My sister and my brother, they're doctors. You know, my sister's a scientist. My brother, you know, he's in his 5th year of residency at med school. You know, at the end of the day, yeah, you like to think that there's something special, but we're all just people, and it's just people that work their tail off for what they want and what they believe in. And you had a little bit, maybe you have a little something extra in your tank if you're spiritually involved, you know. So I mean, honestly, that's how I feel. I mean, I got to where I am today. You know, I tried to listen, I tried to do right, I tried to, you know, be spiritually active. I tried to work my tail off and mix all those things up together: the hard work, the drive, the will. You know, you got some faith in there. You know, like I say, you could be a superstar. You know, and I feel like if you really visualize and see great things for yourself, you can't let things that distract you, like a failure of some sort, take you off or knock you off your vision, because you know your vision is still there. Just because you fall down, that don't mean it's gone. You just gotta, you're just at a low point right now. You just got to keep working your way back up. But believe me, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And I heard somebody say this today: there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. You know what I'm saying? So
That's good, man. That's good. Well, man, I know, you know, people are asking what is your foundation. I'm pretty sure they can find that somewhere. But if you can tell them real quick where they can find information about your foundation.
yes, Calvin Johnson Jr. Foundation.org. In the process of, I want to revamp everything, redo my whole personal image, get more involved in social media such as you, man, just so I can interact with my fans a little more, let them know what I'm doing, man. So don't worry, that's coming. I'm going to do it. Trying to get like UGQ.
Man, bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's been fun, man, because I do feel like fans mean a lot to us, and sometimes you kind of get caught up. You get those nasty fans every now and then, man. But for the most part, the fans are cool, man. They just want to know, and they're excited about their teams, and they love you, man. And you know, I be feeling so bad because, like I said, my aim for these shows right now, at least these first ones that I do, is for us to get to know each other better and to put good content, good positive vibes out there. And so they be want to ask these questions about, you know, what's relevant in today. Do I think the Lions are going to win a Super Bowl, and how do you feel about the Lions and all this stuff? And that's not really what I want to talk about right now. I want to talk about you, because 5 years from now, there'll be another kid that's going through the same things that you went through. And I want them to be able to say, oh, this is what Calvin Johnson did. This is what Stephon Gilmore, this is what Quandre did. Like, this is what's like, I want them to be able to come back and see this and see some real good, you know, organic, you know, information, man. And so I appreciate I appreciate all of the fans that tune in and that want to get to know people. But it's been fun, man, just hanging out with the fans, man. I joined, you know, different Facebook groups, man. They ask questions. I sit there and answer questions for a little while, man. And, you know, I get to interact with them on YouTube. And I've joined a couple podcasts and live YouTube. It's fun, man. I mean, it's cool. It gives the fans obviously what they want, man. And you are a legend, man. You're future Hall of Famer, man. I can't wait till you get that call, man. I know you said that it may not come because, at least on the first ballot, because you didn't play as long. But I think the work of art that you did in your 9 years, man, you're definitely deserving of a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I will say this right here, man. I do, and I don't even want you to comment on it. I'm just gonna speak on it. I do feel like, you know, Detroit owes you. Detroit, they owe you more of appreciation, man, for what you did for that organization, man. Just putting them on the map, bro. Like, people tuned in to watch the Detroit Lions because of Megatron, man. And still to this day, the fans love you. Yeah, there's some that feel a certain way, but there's more fans that love you, man. More fans that appreciate you. Us players, we appreciate you, man, making us better, striving to compete with you, striving to try to beat you. I mean, I appreciate you, man. I got my jersey, got your jersey in there. Man,
I got yours too, man. You know it.
Man.
Hey, man, one last thing. Like you said it right, perfect, man. It's art. It's an art to it. You know, it's just like, when I think about it, it's kind of like I was doing the dancing. It's choreographed to the point that, you know, there's a certain amount of time that you have to perform certain duties. And so, like I say, it's a work of art that we do out there. Me personally, and I'll give you one more little piece, the thing that really drove me too when I was a younger receiver. You know, I looked up to the guys that did it at the best of their ability. You know, like the Randy Mosses, the Marvin Harrisons, you know, the T.O.s. You know, Marvin Harrison, really crispy with his routes. You know, Randy Moss going up and mossing folks. You know, T.O. was a train out there. I wanted to try to take all those things and embody them all in one specimen. And in myself, and I tried to, really, that's what I tried to do, and I feel like, you know, we were able to make some hay there. You know, we had some fun. I love playing, having teammates like you on my team. You know, people that are just like there, that are conscious. You know, you love to see that, man. So yeah, appreciate you, man.
It's been awesome, man. I asked my wife to send the boys real quick. I give them like 30 seconds. I'm gonna read you some of these comments, man. People they love the conversation, man. They love what you've talked about, man. Calvin, come back. They all want you back, man. That was amazing. Please and blessings to CJ. You're the best. Can't wait to see you at the Hall of Fame. Man, these guys love you, man. The ones that rock with you, bro, they rock with you. People from the Philippines,
I love them too, man.
My guys from the Philippines.
Oh man, dang.
He tuned in.
That's wild.
Yeah, man. They love CJ, man. They love CJ. Saying how great of a man you are. All those good things, man. That has been incredible. I don't see my little homies coming, man.
We do it again, man. I look forward.
I'll definitely get them next time, man. So I played this video before, and I don't know if you saw it, but I'm going to officially end the interview, and I'm gonna play this appreciation clip, just some highlights of you. If you want to watch it, you can, but you won't be on screen. You can stick around, if not. But I appreciate you, man. And this right here is just so the fans can see and get an appreciation for Calvin Johnson.
My wife told me to tell Gladys. She said hello. I know I guess they communicate on socials and stuff like that. So she said hello. Like I said, tell the boys to say hello, man. Love you, boy. Hope you stay well. Hope the family's well during all this craziness, man.
You too, man. I appreciate it, man. So for you fans, this is just a appreciation of Calvin Johnson. Some of the great plays that he made throughout his career. Check it out. When it's over with, we're out. Peace out.
Nobody open. Rolls and throws. Calvin Johnson made the grab. Throwing the seam. There's Johnson, and he's got it. He went up and took it down to the 30-yard line. Stafford backs up. Throws. What a catch by Calvin Johnson.
After the penalty, Orlovsky throws. Quick slant. Calvin in the clear. 15, 10, 5. End zone touchdown, Detroit Lions. How about that?
That guy is unbelievable. 40 yards. And here is Stafford's pass, and Calvin Johnson stopped at the 1-yard line. As time throws it, completes to Calvin Johnson, who breaks away. Here's the race for the end zone, and Calvin Johnson goes in. On first and goal, Stafford, Calvin Johnson. Wow. And that is a touchdown, Lions. Yes, he held on. He came up cleanly with the football.
The deep back 4 yards deep in his end zone. Orlovsky to throw. Looking deep right side. Got Calvin out there. Hits him in stride. 50, 40, 30. Not going to catch him. 10-5. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 96 yards. Getting it from the shotgun on first down. As it throws, got Calvin. Calvin turns it up to 40. In the clear for 35, 30, 20, 15, 10. Count it down. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 47 yards.
Went out of bounds. Stafford completes to Calvin Johnson. Diving for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown. D'Angelo Hall had him, but couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
Tate at the top has not been targeted so far today. 3rd and 6.
To throw again. Sets looks deep left side. Wants Calvin out there. Throws it up.
He's got it.
Calvin's got it inside the 20 and forced out at the 16-yard line. Calvin Johnson beat Rondé Barber.
Arkansas, who are starting the Razorbacks. Right fake. Stafford fouls up the deep ball. One-on-one. It's caught. Megatron is back. Touchdown, Lions.
Look at Grimes, he's running around for him, but you can't stop that. Johnson in the back of the end zone, and it's a touchdown with 39 seconds remaining. And now a point after away from going ahead. What an unbelievable last 2.5 minutes in this game.
Second down and 10. And here's Stafford putting it up for Johnson. And Johnson makes the catch. Calvin Johnson over the shoulder makes the catch inside the 15 of the Vikings.
Just an outstanding play by Calvin Johnson. Look at the concentration by Calvin Johnson. Look at the hands.
Get past midfield. Longest run of the season for the Lions. This is a completion to Calvin Johnson. Heading for the corner. And he's in. Touchdown.
2 plays, 91 yards. Wow. Wow.
Walters out, Roy back in. Kitna, pump fake, throws, deep left sideline. Wants Johnson. Did he catch it? You bet! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! Oh, baby, what a catch by the rookie. Just took it away from Kevin Dockery.
Johnson in traffic, and that is a touchdown to Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, all 6'5" of them, has about a 42-inch vertical jump. That's just trying to make something happen using his size.
Once again down by 10. And this time Stafford going up on top to Calvin Johnson, who makes the catch. Incredible. 54 yards.
Oh my God. This is the consummate Calvin Johnson. 2 people draped all over him. You'd have no problem telling the quarterback, what are you doing throwing up a jump ball down the middle of the field with 2 defenders all over him? Well, because you've got Calvin Johnson.
Plenty of time. Stafford's going to air it out deep for Johnson. He's got it. Calvin Johnson makes the catch down around the 10-yard line. Kerry Williams on the coverage with a face full of snow for Megatron.
On first down all day for Stafford, who goes to the end zone. Jump ball, touchdown. Megatron is in for the touchdown, Calvin Johnson. That is unbelievable right there. Calvin Johnson comes off the ball. Matthew Stafford sees that he's not open, that there's 2 defenders down there covering him, and he just alley-ooped it.
Matthew rolls the pocket to the right. Pumps, now comes back to the left, looking deep, throw into the end zone, wants Calvin, well covered, he goes up, he makes the catch, are you kidding me? Oh, Megatron, you did it again, touchdown Detroit Lions. There were 3 Bengals draped on him, and Calvin went up and hauled it in, 50 yards and a score.
I want more than you.